prayer followed by pledge of allegiance.
Father God, we thank you for your kindness in bringing us all together today. Though we may not know what this meeting holds, we know that you do. As we begin, Lord, help us to keep your word in mind. Lead us into conversations that are fruitful and enrich the lives of those who are here today. When we are undecided, please lead us in your wisdom. When our opinions may disagree, help us to remain respectful to one another. More than anything, Lord, would you help us both to seek your will and to pursue your glory through all that we say and do. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order for agenda business. First item, public comment.
What public comment?
Minutes from our last meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 7th, 2023 meeting as presented.
Okay, so motion on the floor is to approve the minutes from our September 7th meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is reports. Aaron?
I provided you with a report on how Community Corrections is doing at this time. We currently have 113 individuals on the program. Since the beginning of the fiscal year, we've had 1 full participant, 22 on bond, 5 services, and 1 from parole. We have had 16 complete our program. We've had 5 terminate from the program and 1 re-enter back in the program. I've had 2 individuals attend rehab. We have completed 345 community service hours. We have completed 4,840 employment hours. I've had 1 out of 5 complete my domestic violence program. We have administered 739 drug screens of our people. Of those, 71 were positive, which gives us 668 negatives. For the community service hours, we saved the county $3,018.75. We've collected $6,403 in participation fees. We have, with the regional jail bill, we saved the county $381,959.25. So with the community service savings and the regional jail bill, we saved the county $384,978. Of our current 113 individuals, I have 19 full correction, 57 on bond, 19 services, 1 check-in and drug screens only, 14 from probation, and 3 from parole. Of our 19 full corrections, we have 12 employed, 1 unemployed, but he has a couple interviews, so fingers crossed. 3 on the run and 3 on disability, which gives us our 19. Of our money, minus our grant, we have spent $20,033.44, but we've brought in the $6,403. With federal probation, we have spent $3,350. We've brought in $4,900. With drug court, we've spent $6,900. We've brought in $4,309.50. With DHR, we spent $29,068.21. But we've brought in $73,350. And with parole, we've brought in $159.20. So our expenses minus our grant, we spent $59,351.65, but we've brought in $89,121.70. So we've placed in the bank $29,770.05. And we are probably about 3 months from DHR that owes us,
So on the community service hours, what jobs were they doing this time?
We have some people doing stuff in our office. Sid just asked me for someone over there at the Y. If this individual that doesn't have a job right now doesn't get one, he'll probably be going over there. We helped with you guys a little bit over in the prosecutor's building,
Okay.
so those kind of things. Any more questions?
Very good. Kurt?
Just been overly busy, 600 calls ahead of schedule from last year to date. All 3 stations are staffed, full staffing, 12 ambulances. Just getting prepared for Forest Festival and going down that direction. We did obtain the preliminary deed for the new piece of property for 2 acres donated from Penn, Virginia. So lawyers are working the deed processes out at this point in time. So it does look like we can start on the RPF process and the 5G process in the future.
What's the access look to that property?
What's that?
The access, how's it look onto that property?
Right off of Quarter H on the Harding Road, directly off of Quarter H. It's
Okay,
within-
so across from 151.
it's one intersection up, next intersection on the right, 50 feet off of the state's right of way.
Okay.
Were you ever able to get the overtime that you spend that week of festival?
Looking at this year of the staffing, we've got 12 ambulances running plus UTV unit, 2 units coming in from mutual aid agencies. Probably roughly about $8,000 is what I've computed on.
Is that the property on down Quarter H that you're working with with the National Forest? Were you all not working?
A few years ago, we designed a project with National Forest, but it fell through for their dispatch
Oh.
agency.
That's a different piece of property.
Yes.
Okay.
Same area though,
Okay.
general area.
Anything from Moody's office?
Well, best wishes and hello from the congressman right now. Just also, they're busy working on appropriations up there, and everybody's watching into September and looking for a CR. But as always, the office is ready to help any of your agencies, community, EMS, sheriff, with any kind of letters of recommendation or support for grant activity. Thank you. Anything from you going up?
Not yet.
All right, sir. Good to see you.
Chris?
So we have, still have one in the academy. He's still there. Everything's looking good for him so far. We've been in pre-planning meetings with the, emergency personnel for the festival, upcoming events and pre-planning on all that. And we've been looking for an escapee from DOC, and, which led us into Upshur the other night. We had a verified sighting video of him walking down a road. And, with that, we've had our mobile command unit out trying to utilize it. And, was brought to my attention again the other day when we went to put the awning out that, it is damaged to the point that it cannot be repaired. And, we'd like to see if we could at least talk to you guys about, getting that fixed, looking at about $4,200. But it's from the Jack Roy era, and, it's getting some age on it. The vehicle still runs good and is maintained that way. The only thing we're missing is an awning to, put out over for, weather and things like that when we're using it. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, and, I don't think I have anything else.
Thank you.
It's been around, like I said, Jack got it through a grant years ago.
Yeah, it's just the awning's aged and rotted basically, and it just
You
needs.
don't have 4,200 in your budget somewhere?
No. You know what's in my budget.
You've got a lot of money in that budget.
I can put it in for next year.
This is true. Brenda? All right, any other missing reports? All right, let's go with announcements. No, correspondence first. We had a letter from the Y thanking us for the $5,000 that we donated towards their concert fundraiser, that they recently had at the DV, so we thank them. They thanked us, and we were happy to do that for them. Announcements. Our next meeting will be October the 3rd. Now, we're moving that because, the courthouse is closed that Friday because of the festival. And then in order to get all the bills and everything done in time, we're moving our meeting up till Tuesday. So instead of the first Thursday of the month, it's gonna be the first Tuesday for October the 3rd at 1:30 here in the commission room. And again, the courthouse will be closed on that Friday, October the 6th for the, Festival Friday. it's a holiday for our employees. All right, items for discussion and action. First one is discussion of a time clock HR payroll system. Last week, I sat in on a call with, Phyllis, our assessor, Deb from your office, Brooke was there, Aaron, you were there. I'm looking at, going with a time clock. First off is an HR, we'll go with the HR system first. It's where, all new employees, or all employees of the county would have a dashboard set up. And if you're a new hire, all your, new hire forms, the handbook will all be there for them to electronically download, sign, and go back to Kathy. Ta-da, back there, hi Kathy. She's all happy about this. So that's part of the HR process, and then a time clock where they can be able to punch in on using their phone. We'll have either a time clock or a phone or their desktop computer to clock in with. And then it also can lead into a payroll system where, there's three phases of the last is a payroll system where, Deb or Kathy would just have to initiate payroll, and then it would generate all the forms for them, or the actual would generate the checks and just send us the checks. So we're looking into this. They're gonna be getting us a quote for this, on each phase. If we just wanna do the time clock, if we just wanted to do the HR system, if we wanna do HR and time clock, or HR, time clock, and payroll, all in one. This was a presentation that, when I was at the County Commissioners Association meeting, that for the auditor's office, they had this company there speaking to the other county commissioners. And there's other counties. Taylor County, I think, is on all three of these. Kanawha County is doing, I think, the time clock and HR part of it, not the payroll yet. So there are counties going to this. I think it's just time for our county to get in with the times and start doing paper forms, paper time sheets, all right? So this is something I would like to go with, and I'll bring it back up. This was just a discussion today. There's no action to be taken on it, until we get the quote, and since you guys weren't able to make the call, I just wanted to fill you in on that, so. Any questions about it? No? We've been playing around with a time clock, Brooke's been our test, subject on it for about a year now. So, we feel comfortable that we need to start rolling this out for the county as a whole, so. And we're given, the elected officials, you were out hunting, escapee, you were with your daughter, so they weren't able to attend, so we're giving them time to have their input as well before we make a final decision. All right, next item on the agenda is informational presentation regarding emergency response systems from, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Thank you guys for taking the time to speak with me today. My name's Chris Jeffries. I'm a disaster preparedness advisor for Panhandle. We are starting a new program, which we are working with county commissioners like yourself, a lot more different businesses and everything to try to open up a commercial business aspect with our company. Just a history of our company, we have been open since 1977. Bob Conjugare was our owner. He started the business as, just a job to get through college. He worked through, graduated. When he got out, he decided to keep it running. It was just a basic carpet cleaning company. Over the years, it has grown into a whole cleaning and restoration company. We do water, smoke, fire, storm damage, everything else like that. You can name it, we basically do it. The new aspect, of course, is the emergency response plans, which works a lot with county commissions, businesses, and everything else. It gathers your information for all your business, for all your buildings, keeps it in an app for you guys that you would have on your phone. And then when storms happen, anything happens where you've got to call someone out, you have all the information in front of you instead of trying to gather it all at one time, trying to be hectic, you have it all together. By having that, we have found out that basically it will save so much time in getting someone in here that it will help you save money, eliminate costs based on being closed if the building had to be closed down. And with it being a government, you don't want to have your buildings closed down. So the quicker we can keep it going or save it from having to be closed down, the better. These apps, like I said, It's basically, it's a secure app. It has we would gather all your information. There's no cost in it. It's no obligation to you. We would gather the information and you would have it at your fingertips whenever you need it. The only thing that we ask in return is that during the times with quoting and stuff like that, because we've never really been a part of you guys and stuff before, and it's not been an aspect of our job, that we can get into the quoting of it too, to show that we, how we can take care of you and everything else. But like I said, you're not obligated to use us to have it. You can cancel it at any time, and everything is just as you want it, as you need it. No, nothing less, nothing more. So, what we do, like if you see the checklist, we have a checklist that's in your guys' papers there. The only information that we would need is like how many buildings you would have, how many floors per building, your square footage, contact information for any of the managers that's on site, equipment on locations like generators, boilers, anything else like that, water shut-off locations, any lockout, tag-out boxes that you guys might need, floor plans, your staff contact listing per building, and all your vendors and any other assets that you may have in there that we need to know firsthand, or whoever you call out needs to know firsthand. They can't get into the app, but you guys can always share that with them when they come on location. Do you guys have any questions about it?
That seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good tool to have. We have worked with Lewis County already. They have signed on. Upshur County, I meet with them next week. Harrison County, we have a job that's going. They're going to meet with us as soon as the job's done. They had that flooding and stuff a couple weeks ago, so we're kind of all busy in there, so they're kind of haywire a little bit, but we're going to meet with them. So it's something that's really passed through a lot of the commissions, the city councils. We're going to go work with them as well and just try to protect their buildings and get them all the information. One thing that we have found out too during the time, these things are going to become required over the next 5-6 years. I don't know if you guys have any, if you have any regulations that says you have to have it now, but they say that you're going to have to. So we're just kind of ahead of the game, offering it for free before any of that comes down.
Okay.
Also told that it could save you insurance wise too, because there'll be a report that goes for you can turn in on your insurance, and depending on the company, you could actually save money on that.
Okay. Is that everything?
I don't have any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, how would you guys go about that? Would you guys want to sign up for it?
We'll take it back and look at it, and then if something we want to do, we'll bring it up at our next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is an informational presentation and funding request from the City of Elkins regarding the Whitmore Water. Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you today? Our chief water operator is currently on vacation, so I got tagged for this since I'm the chair of the water board. So bear with me and I'll try to work through this. This is an update to the previous reports that we provided you. I'm happy to report that after the last presentation that Wes gave you guys, we were able to secure $151,000 for the SCADA system, the computer and internet security, the Whitmer emergency repair, the lab and plant materials, and filters and valves and equipment repair. To date, we have spent $68,089 of that. We need to thank Region 7 for their role in this. They are actually administering the grant for us, that money for us, so everything is filtering through them to keep it cleaner, so it doesn't have to run through the city and get everything complicated there until we finalize this transaction. We have some other numbers for you today of what we're looking at. 15 days ago, we met with IJDC down in Charleston, and they are still willing to support us on this going forward. Funding wise, they don't have much left, but they are going to do what they can. What we're looking at today is we have calculated what it's going to take to make the plant run, and Whitmer currently has an outstanding bond of about $225,000. Actually, $225,060, I think is what I have on here. Today we also have, and I know that the fire department has contacted you guys about getting connection as well. So Wes has told me that we have to have 4 water taps, 3 road bores, and then the fire service installation. So for those taps, it's gonna be a total of $24,140.09. So he's very precise down to the 9 cents. To note, over the past 5 months, there's been several times that the system over in Whitmer has gone down, and we've reported before that we have gone over to get them back up and running, just because there are neighbors in the county and we feel it's the right thing to do. We told you, and Chris, I know you said that you would try to support us as we could on this. That total that we have so far and pricing and everything is $72,323.16. That brings us to a grand total of $321,523.25 should you decide to pay the bond off. And the reason we're asking you if you want to consider paying the bond off, because if you do pay the bond off, their monthly bill, water bill, will average about $62 a month. If you choose not to, it's gonna be about $77 a month. So if you pay it off, they will enter this and be in debt free at that point in time. It is gonna be several more months before the actual acquisition can take place, according to IJDC. This is a very lengthy process we're finding out. Currently, the Whitmer Water Association is still governed, and we have entered into an agreement with them. They have an active board now, and they've been fantastic to work with us. Like I said, it's a patience thing for us right now, is to make sure that we're doing things the right way and to do it the way it needs to be done for them. We wanna make sure those citizens continue to have water the way they deserve. So, right now, they're working together on an interim operational agreement. The agreement will be in place until the acquisition takes place at this point in time. So, that's what we have in place. CEC is an engineering company that is now working on the preliminary engineering report, or the PER, I guess is what it's called. Once that's submitted, the water board, the Water Development Authority, will be looking to help us get funding to pay for that portion of it. So that's where they're gonna supply us money once we get the PER for that. So, and I can get this information to you if you would, gentlemen, would like it in an email, so you have the total breakdown of what we're looking at.
Send it to Berkey.
We can do that, we can do that. Do you have any questions? And if so, I'll try to answer them.
You said it was CEC?
CEC, yes, sir. They said I'll do my best to answer since I'm not Wes, obviously. But I've learned more about water the past 2.5 years than I ever thought I'd wanna know.
How many customers do they have?
Right around 100.
Around 100.
That was an easy one, I knew that one, Chris, so appreciate that.
Can the congressman get us some money, $225,000? Put that on one of those earmarks?
As you know, he doesn't do earmarks.
Well, how can he help us with any of this?
Well, that'd be a hard no then.
Yeah.
Well, Congressman doesn't do earmarks as everybody else does earmarks.
Mhm.
What he does is, he believes in proper order. If the county would write a letter asking them to, request certain funds to be used for a particular project to be inserted into the upcoming budget of an existing department,
Mhm.
then, he would be more than happy to tender that and ask them to, add that to the appropriations when they vote on it.
Okay.
He wants everything to be accounted for and go through a department that has a budget instead of sticking National Defense Authorization Act, the Farm Bill, and,
Okay.
but that's just his prerogative of trying to get us back into economic and fiscal solvency. So,
You tell them we're all trying to do that. All right, thank you.
yes, sir, thank you.
Anything else for the mayor?
I'll ask.
As we receive updates, we will try to get it on your agenda as well, if you would like for us to provide you, the latest information. Like I said, I don't know how long this process is gonna take, but we've been told several months. Several is a very vague term for me, so I can't say whether it's gonna be 6 or 14, so, like I said, as we get information that we feel is pertinent, we will make sure that we get on your agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is consider approval of funding request from the Autumn on the Drive Board.
I borrow your chair, Chris.
I'm telling you, I'm about ready to get rid of it.
Well, I feel like I'm almost ready to take it too.
You'll be first in line.
Thank you all for your time and we are requesting, think the last couple, 2 or 3 years, we've gotten money for our fair, our Autumn on the Dry Fork, which is a fall festival we have every year. We have, I think you received a letter for that, so. And we have pork roast, chicken barbecue, make cider and apple butter, and all that good stuff, and have vendors and have some awful good music. And everyone's invited. It's 14th of October, and we usually start serving about 11 o'clock, and it's usually going to 2 or 2:30. So you better come pretty quick. Those 400 chickens don't last long in Harmony. So
Apple butter probably won't either.
no, it's we've already made 2 kettles, and
Your building that looks amazing.
have you seen that one?
Yeah.
We got I'd say almost over 3/4 done, and we had to stop because of access to getting in to get the concrete on the floor, so, and,
Cause, I think Phyllis said you're gonna put that, heating in the floor?
yeah, it's, I mean, we have talked, I don't know how many people, and they say that
That's the way to go.
economically, and, it's gonna cost a little bit more in the beginning, so.
To get that concrete warm, it stays warm.
Yeah, and it comes up through your body, it doesn't have to come down and go down through your body, so it's, you know, I've talked to several people, the guy one ago that built the big garage, Mr. Warner, he says he turns his heat to 60.
That's it.
Plenty warm, so. But,
How big is that building gonna be?
pardon?
How big is that building gonna be?
It's 110 by 90. It'll have a full gym, wellness and fitness center, bathrooms, of course, kitchen, and, we had some equipment donated to us from, Tammy, Elza for our wellness and fitness center. We have some treadmills and some stationary bikes and whatnot, so, can't wait, you know.
Is it gonna be one, I think Phyllis said one part it's gonna be like a second floor, there'll be like 2.
Yes, yeah.
It's gonna be really nice for that area.
It'd be, I mean, it's just one, we can't thank you enough for all your, and by the way, we've, already spent your money, so we're working on ours.
So if you spend it, then we'll have to probably come back and, be a part of the, cause we gave, art funds, didn't we? So we'll have to have you come back sometime and do presentations that somebody's been spent, is that right?
Yep.
For our audit.
Okay, I sure appreciate that, you know, it's just, everyone has commented so much on the facility and.
And you drive by it, it looks huge.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I've told this before, and I don't mean to, it's hard to get to school anymore. You gotta have $1 million liability policy, cause we used to have old men's basketball and different stuff, you know. And every time we have to present our certificate of insurance, you know, and the older border people, they love to walk in track, but in the wintertime, they'd have to shovel snow. So we're gonna try to give them a place where they can walk around the gym and have your stationary bikes and your treadmills and whatnot, so. But then we have, like I said, we have this all on Dry Fork and have a big crowd, and it's a wonderful thing for the community, and people, they've already said, you know, when you're having it and all this stuff, you know, so.
Well, we're glad to help it and support it, and Optional will be in attendance, so.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the funding request from Autumn on Dry Fork in the amount of $2,500 to be taken from Hotel Motel.
So motion on the floor is to approve the funding request from Autumn on the Dry Fork, the amount of $2,500 to be taken from Hotel Motel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
That'll help y'all some.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
I do have one question. Do you have butterscotch pies over there?
Well,
Cause
that
you
can
cannot
be,
get them in Elton.
that can be arranged. My son took over his grandma's butterscotch pie making, and he's almost,
Well, then
if I can talk him into doing
I
it.
can sell them at the freezer at Walmart.
I know where I'm coming from. No thanks.
He used to work at Hutton's the only one, then he also worked at the Rubenstein Center. And, he sat by his grandma for years, watching her make her butterscotch pie. And his meringue is.
All right then.
Alrighty then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rex.
All right, Rick, you have a good day.
Next item on the agenda is consider approval, of the quote for the monitor replacement for the probation office. We need to get a new monitor for them, video monitor, it's 21.5 inch monitor. The quote from Digital Soup is $309 and a penny.
you can take that out of our other building and maintenance line, equipment line. Is there any discussion on that? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal from Digital Soup for a monitor replacement in the probation office, in the amount of $309.01 to be taken from other buildings equipment.
Okay, so motion on the floor is accept the proposal from Digital Soup for the monitor replacement for the probation office in the amount of $3,009 and a penny to be taken from buildings equipment line. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is consider approval of the funding request from Valley Head Fire Department. You got anybody here for that? I received a letter from the Valley Head Fire Department. I'm asking for funding towards the purchase of new and improved air packs for our firefighters. The air packs are replacing have come to the end of their life, service life. As you know, these air packs are essential for firefighting. With our air packs expiring, we had to place an order for them to arrive in time to be placed into service. After several demos of different types of air packs to be available, they want to go with 8 Scott X3 Pro Series, and the cost of each of those, for a total cost for what they need, is $76,000. They're asking for $20,000 to help with this purchase. What we've done in the past for this is something that we have been trying to help the volunteer fire departments out with, is air packs. And we have done for others, we bought 2. So I would think we could do 2 for them as well. Any discussion? All right, so have a motion. So what we've done in the past for the other ones is $14,900.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion, for funding request from the Valley Head Fire Department in the amount of $14,900, and I'll be taken from courthouse contractual.
Okay, so motion on the floor is to approve the funding request for Valley Head Fire Department to purchase 2 air packs like we've done for some other volunteer fire departments. And that amount will be $14,900 taken from courthouse contractual. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I believe the fire departments would get some additional funding from the state.
Yeah, we had that coming, right? We've got the letter from the governor, stating that, the amount that we're gonna be receiving, but we haven't got the money yet.
No, not yet.
We've got the letter. Sheriff, you wanna talk about the Bulletproof Vest on the item G?
Sure, you guys, of course, gave us a couple extra, court security officers for, positional spots for our magnetometers and all that. And we have, some other folks that where their vest has come to the end of its life, as far as, court security officers. So, we would be replacing those, buying the 2 new vests for the new CSOs. And then my law enforcement, I have guys that their vests have, timed out on the 5-year period, and we'd be replacing those. So that's what that's all about. You guys replaced some last year, and they're kind of in stages, and it kind of depends on your hire date and things like that too. So that's what that request is about.
All right, so we've got 2 requests. One is, to purchase 4, I guess for the, court security.
CSOs, yes.
Court security. And accessories that go with that, and that total is $5,335. And then for the deputies, it's 8 vests and then 8 of accessories. And the amount for that one is $8,520.
Correct. I think 7 of those are replacements and 1 is for a new hire.
officer, yeah.
And then outer carriers.
Yeah, they go down over, and they generally, with the law enforcement, we get the ones that'll go under the Class A as well, the carrier for the Class A.
Yeah. But the accessories is the outer carrier, and it's part of
Yeah,
it.
well, it fits our vest, our tactical B uniform,
Mhm.
it fits both.
Okay. Them have like a life expectancy of 5-6 years.
They're 5 years, yeah.
5 years, and if you wear them on an everyday basis, your body, if you sweat, things like that, it breaks down the material, and that's why they have to be replaced.
After 5 years, you want rid of that one, I can
Yeah.
guarantee you.
It breaks down the material, the dependability of it is way down, so that's why they need to be replaced. And, we need to make sure everything's taken care of. I'll make a motion to approve the quotes for bulletproof vests for law enforcement and core security in the amounts of $5,335 for core security and $8,520 for the sheriff's deputies to be taken from courthouse contractual.
So motion on the floor is to approve the quotes for the bulletproof vests for the law enforcement and court security officers. In the amount, the one for the court security is $5,335, and the one for the deputies is $8,520. It will be taken from our courthouse contractual line. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Want to talk about the portable radios?
Yes, sir. We've came to you with that. Of course, we hired the two new deputies, which put us a couple radios short right off the bat. But what we're finding out now, the radios we carry, are at the end of their life, basically, and they're not making parts and, things for them at this point. And, we're having issues with like our pro officers in the, like Deputy Head in Mill Creek. Once he's in the school, he has no radio at all. It doesn't work. The digital part just does not work. So, the radios we're looking at now, we're gonna hand down some radios from the deputies. We'll go to the CSOs, the new hires there, so that they all have radios, while they're here on the complex. And the new radios, which have Wi-Fi capability, would be filtered into the ranks. The pros would have them for sure, so they could log in on the school internet, Wi-Fi, and would have communications. If something was to bad happen in Mill Creek at this point in time, Deputy Head would have to call on a cell phone if he could get to where it works in the school too. There's issues with that, but, so we have very limited contact with him unless he makes arrangements to call us or something, or we call him direct and can get through to him. So, those would go, we'd cycle those out into to law enforcement units, with, emphasis on the pros, the 3 pros first. And then, we're running into issues with our radios, even the ones in our cars. And I've asked to see if you guys will let Peggy do a grant. If you know anything about the siren part, it's went to phase 2 now. Chris, you probably should know that. Or it switched over to phase 2. All our radios are phase 1. So when things are happening, we can't talk to the state police unless we dial the radio driving up the road and try to find their channel to talk to them direct. And then it will pull them back off phase 2 to phase 1 to talk to us, but we don't have the capability. So it's gonna take a lot of money to replace the mobile units in the cars and the portables that the guys carry eventually down the road. But the purchase of these 6 that we're talking about, that's the start of that process. But it's just imperative at this point. I can't wait for a grant to replace the ones of people that don't have them at this point, so.
When I talked to Brad about it, I think there was 5 that he needed now.
Correct.
And there's one of the older style radios that they have out for repair, but it's been out for repair for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been going for months, and that's like $600 or $700 to replace it.
So that's why I
Just to
told them
work
to
on.
include 6, but they absolutely need now is 5. They said they don't anticipate that one coming back.
I've been on that end where you call for signal 5 and nobody can hear you. You definitely want a radio that's working.
Well, it's bad in that end of the valley anyway,
Yeah.
because of the quiet zone for over in Pocahontas County, but, with him, I had no idea that he had no access on that radio at all. It just doesn't work in the school. So this would be a start to upgrading.
And this is a Series 6 series?
It's a 6,000 series,
Yeah, see,
Motorola.
right now they're on 8,000, but there was like $20,000 more. So I said, if it's still Wi-Fi capable, we'll do the 6 now.
Yeah, the 8,000s are $10,000 for 6 of those, and these are 7,000 for 6 of these.
So I got the cheaper ones.
Unbelievable, the price of this stuff.
No, it just keeps going up.
Yep.
Okay.
You pretty much have to add.
Yeah, you can't go
It's a safety thing, guys. I wouldn't be pushing in this phase 1, phase 2 thing. They've talked about it for years, and they've switched our Rich Mountain Tower to phase 2 now. So, we're starting to see the issues with it now, where it's switched to phase 2.
And we've gotten with Peggy about, researching the grant for the cruisers.
Yeah, we need to do it.
All right, you have a motion?
Yeah, make a motion to approve the purchase of portable radios for the sheriff's department in the amount of $37,625.64 to be taken from courthouse contractual.
Motion on the floor is to approve the purchase of the portable radios for the sheriff's department in the amount of $37,625.64 to
to be taken from our courthouse contractual line. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Would you like to talk, Sheriff, about the, town of Beverly's donation to the, about the Explorer they're looking at for us?
Just real quick, the mayor of Beverly called me the other day. We had gave them a expedition a couple years ago, that they've been using for their town police that they've started up there. And, they're starting to have issues with it. And, he called me and said that he'd been down to the airport, the 911 center, and saw that we had an Explorer, Explorer sitting there that we had retired. And it was the one that Ethan Carr was driving that kept quitting. We'd had it to Fort Garage several times. We'd had it to Colonial Court several times. They could not figure out what the issue was for the vehicle, why it was quitting running. But he asked about it. I told him what the situation was with it. And he said they would be willing to try to troubleshoot the problem and get it to go if it's something you guys would consider letting them have. And they're thinking about, they got an officer in the academy right now, so if he comes back, they'll have actually 2 guys and could utilize the vehicle if you guys were so inclined.
It's just sitting at the airport now.
Sitting at the airport now. It was not dependable for us, and Ethan has a newer vehicle now, or a new vehicle now, so.
I bet they didn't take it to Siler or C's Auto Repair, did they? That's the problem right there.
I didn't, I don't know about that.
All right, we have a motion? And no, we can't take it there, so don't take the vehicle to them. All right, do you have a motion?
Yeah, you wanna do it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the donation of 2013 Ford Explorer to the town of Beverly.
So motion on the floor is to approve the donation of the 2013 Ford Explorer to the town of Beverly. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next is consider approval of the reappointment to the Russell Memorial Public Library Board. Received a letter. From Lucy Godwin that she is requesting to continue serving on the library's board of directors. So do we have a motion to reappoint Lucy Godwin to the Russell Memorial Public Library Board?
You know, make a motion to reappoint Lucy Godwin to the Russell Memorial Public Library beginning immediately and ending August the 30th of 2028.
So motion on the floor is to approve the reappointment of Lucy Godwin to the Russell Memorial Public Library beginning immediately and ending on August the 30th of 2028. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Been there over 30 years.
Yes, what it says.
Yeah.
Next is consider approval of the report of the recommendation for the fiduciary commissioners on the state of Mary Joanna Nelson.
How you guys doing?
How are you?
I'll try to give you a little background on this. Mrs. Nelson, some years prior to her death, had moved in out at ERCC. Her daughter, Miss Kittle, was her power of attorney, and she had arranged for an auction and the sale of Miss Nelson's personal property and her car, et cetera, et cetera. So Miss Nelson passed away, and her other daughter filed a claim against the estate. There are about 20 individual items in that claim, which I lumped together in my report, but 3 of those 20 were given back at the date of the hearing. They were found and returned to the claimant, so those are moot. There were about 5 things that all had to do with the way expenses and bills and income during Miss Nelson's life that were taken care of by her daughter as power of attorney. That can't be addressed in the claims procedure for an estate. If she wants to take that up somewhere, she probably has somewhere to do that, but it's not part of the estate. What was spent on what while their mother was alive, et cetera, et cetera. There are about another 6 things that were items of personal property which were not found. There's dispute. There's at least some evidence that some of those things were sold in auction or given away prior to death, but in any event, the estate doesn't have them to give. There was an issue with respect to life insurance policies, which I think the parties agree on. There was life insurance that was payable to the funeral home. There was a little bit of refund from that came back into the estate. Everybody agrees that has to be distributed in accordance with the will.
there was a safe deposit box. I think my recommendation was that the testimony was there was nothing of value in the safe deposit box, that it was just, personal items, family items, old deeds and documents, the kinds of things that somebody would keep that don't really have any intrinsic value. I made the recommendation that the executrix make a copy of those and give those copies to the claimant. And the remaining 4 items were items which were allegedly given to the decedent by the claimant while she was in the nursing home. To the extent that the estate has them, they should return them. Otherwise, I just think they're probably gone forever. None of those items are of particular monetary value. They were just, like, there was a wristwatch that the claimant had bought at Walmart and given to her mother, and she wanted to get that back, and if the estate has it, it should return it, but I don't think that Walmart wristwatch was high on the list of anybody's priorities for, saving or keeping, and I don't think it has any monetary value to recover. So, in essence, I think fairly dealt with all of the claimant's claims against the estate. I think the estate can do a few things, and then it would be ripe for closure. But I don't think there's anything to be done with respect to the claimant's various 20 or so complaints other than what's outlined in the recommendation. Do you have any questions?
I don't have a question.
You got
Pretty well covered everything.
make a motion?
Then I'll make a motion to approve the report and recommendation from the Fiduciary Commissioner on the estate of Mary Johanna Nelson.
Okay, so motion on the floor is to approve the report and recommendation from the Fiduciary Commissioner on the estate of Mary Johanna Nelson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is our final settlements in annual accountants. We have 3 final settlements. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 3 final settlements as submitted.
So motion on the floor is to approve the 3 final settlements as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item is budget revisions. We have 2 in-house budget revisions. The first one is increase the budget line associated with law enforcement contract work using funds from the law enforcement overtime line. So you're not asking money from us.
No, we're just moving it in a different line to cover it until it reimburses itself.
Let me check the next one, so they don't take any money from us.
Yeah, don't thank him yet.
So the first in-house budget revision is, for $5,000, like you said, he's taking it from his overtime line and then moving into the wage, like the Medicare and retirement line. Motion to approve the first in-house budget revision for the sheriff in the amount of $5,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the first in-house budget for the sheriff's office in the amount of $5,000.
All right, so motion for is to approve the first in-house budget for $5,000. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The next is adjustments to the jail line. He's moving, $117.76 from supply line and moving it into the jailer uniforms line. So we have a motion to approve the second in-house budget revision for the sheriff in the amount of $117.76.
I'll make a motion to approve the in-house budget revision of the sheriff's office in the amount of $117.76.
All right, so motion on the floor is to approve the second in-house budget revision for the sheriff, $117.76. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, division of property, erroneous assessments.
One division of property.
So I have a motion to approve the one division of properties as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the 1 division property as presented.
So motion on the floor is to approve the one division of property as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You guys go ahead and sign it there.
Well,
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the 12 erroneous assessments as submitted?
I'll make a motion to approve the 12 erroneous assessments as submitted.
So motion on the floor is to approve the 12 erroneous assessments as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Distressed properties. We have no distressed properties. Fire fee adjustments, we have 10. So do I have a motion to approve the 10 fire fee adjustments?
I I'll make a motion to approve the 10 fire fee adjustments as submitted.
So motion on the floor is to approve the 10 fire fee adjustments as submitted. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills.